anything about it.
Okay. So my question is, because I'm a bit confused because of other methodologies. So in solution-focused terminology, we shouldn't, or we don't have to put our part into the contract. We totally leave it out, like
There is no our point.
There is no part.
that we, for example, in other terminology, that our part in the contract, that we support you in order to reach your goal. We don't put it
You
there.
remember what I said in the morning? If my thoughts about her goal are different from the difference she wants to make, then I'm wrong.
Yeah, of course, but not my thoughts, but my role. So, for example, who am I here? So it's not important at all, or should we put that I'm trying to support you in this aim?
We believe it's not necessary,
Not necessary.
to say anything about that, because she came to see us, so she has
Okay.
already some ideas about the relationship. And if we emphasize our role, this is how we emphasize our expertise, which
Great.
we don't have.
Okay, great,
Yeah.
thank
And
you.
it can happen that some coaches do this, like if there's a question about the whole thing, what this coaching is, do some exchange of sentences before, like how long it might take, like you also negotiate maybe on price, whatever. And some coaches say regarding this, I do my best to be
I'll
useful.
do my best, yeah. That's right.
And also you can
We'll try, yeah.
you can tell that I do my best, and for example some coaches say like you can give back questions. You can, if you have better question, you can also share it, and we can go that direction. So starting to co-create the whole conversation together. That's, I do my best.
And that doesn't mean that we are not contracted, that we leave our responsibility. Whatever happens, I'm not responsible. We do have a contract with client in terms of I will co-create with you to be with you on the path that you are gonna go.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you
It's
for
a wonderful
clarification.
question, by the way. A wonderful question. You can start. Of course, you can say, "What do you?" If I were meeting her for the first time, I would have asked something to establish the relationship, the beginning.
I like this, the yes question, yes answers.
Yeah, but there is another wonderful question, which may sound a little bit absurd to you. Is what question do you want me to ask you now? This is a wonderful question. It unlocks her state of mind at the moment.
And I like your own question, this what do you want to achieve from this
Yeah.
conversation, like already.
Thank you.
This is a
She
classical
implied
Oriental
that she believes she is able to achieve.
Yeah.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
What else?
Oh, this question also was in conversation. What else?
What was the
They are
effect?
coaching us all the time.
And what was the effect? Maybe you recognize. Like it's interesting. Like what was the effect of it after being asked? What else?
How was it for
During the
you?
conversation, let me concentrate. I need to remember what I've done. So first thing I felt was lack of judgment. Which I tested a little bit for a while, but it still was there, so it allowed me to open up.
And what did it tell you that there is lack of judgment?
Sorry?
What did tell you that there is lack of judgment? What was there? What did Lea do?
The fact that she was attentive, she was trying to work out with my with my data. She was not. She didn't have any preconceived data with trying to insert it to my information. She has clear mind and only my information that I'm giving her and trying to construct something out of my information. If she lacks something in what I'm giving her, she asks a question to bring it out. So I felt really that nobody's going to intrude into my personal, into my world. I will have it as I want it, as I want to have it. And then I felt this, that what we were talking yesterday in the connection group, I don't remember, all groups are mixed up in my head already. Some of you, we had this connection, how to make connection. I see you, this is the element I see. Actually, this is what I felt. That, because she really wants to see my world, what it is like. It is completely different from her world and from your world. I felt that she sees me, and this is a very empowering feeling. So that's what I felt.
What is going to happen in Ljubljana?
This is that you want to get an answer to.
No, I don't want to get an answer. I want to be surprised.
Okay. This, keep it, at least Ljubljana.
Yeah.
Wow, thank you for this. It's, we've been talking about the art of not knowing. And you're surprised, but you exactly demonstrated it, like how to be with this ambiguity and uncertainty and curiosity. Like, okay, how to prepare with not preparing, with not preparing for it, because you don't know what will happen, but still, how to prepare. And we thought this morning could be also a preparation to be prepared without preparing before. So we invite you to practice the 2 more sessions during the morning with the same trios that you finished yesterday in. And the afternoon will be about self-directed learning, the learning space dynamics. If you have anything that you feel, this bugs me, this I would like to investigate more, explore more, try out, during the morning, during the lunch break, please add it there, and we'll see what can be done about it.
If you finish.
Yeah, with this, yeah.
Okay. So I just before we start, can I share something shortly? Because I got a very inspiring question, and I just started to think about it very much, and it's related to your yesterday videos. That I'm sure that you already learned a lot of things before you came here, and I don't know if you share the experience, but when I learned, for example, a new technique or new method, many times, especially if it's complex, there are parts which I think it's useful. Then other parts maybe I tried, it didn't work out for me, and I practice, and later on I decide, okay, these parts I think it's great, and I implement it in my workflow. Others I move on, kind of. So this is how many times I learn. But what I realized that I think it's a great mistake when I in the learning process, before I would really know what it is, what I'm learning, or before I would really master it, I already kind of altering it to my liking, or already cherry picking just parts, then I may not get the real thing, or I would have a different experience about it. So what I'm trying to say here is that sometimes it's not so pleasant or easy, but I really encourage myself and others to trust the process and try it as it is and see the result, and later you can just dismiss parts or something. But if we already doing it in our way, then we would maybe not experience the opportunity what you're offering here.
I also realized the same yesterday when we were watching the video, that this woman Lisa?
Insu.
Insu. By the way she spoke, and by the fact that she was using the same formula, recipes, sentences, I realized that this is a procedure that it has been crystallized. It crystallized out of experience, which has taken years, and they have devoted their lives to actually do this. So there is really some point in just trying out exactly the manual and trusting it to the point where you actually use it.
I think what you say makes perfect sense. Some people I know, and I respect them deeply professionally, have all sorts of tools from different approaches. NLP, psychodynamic, this. And they have more tools at disposal to use when something doesn't work with the client. And some prefer to stay pure within one model and use that. I'm not saying which is better. They're different, and we are different kind of people, and different things work for different kind of people. I feel completely satisfied with being a purist, so to speak, because then I can know that what I do is solution focused and nothing else. So if it works, it works. If not, not. The danger with combining more would be that you say you do solution focus, but in fact you're making a mess by putting in salt and sugar at the same time and expect the dish to be delicious. And also some critics that say that solution focus doesn't work is maybe people who've done it didn't do a good job. So yes, I would encourage you to try out the model to see how it works, because it's been developed, like Gaia said, really carefully. They've been constantly trying out which questions work, and this model as it is has survived nearly 40 years. This is how old the solution focused approach is, and it's there for a reason. And it's an ongoing process. So this is how it currently stands. Many things have been dropped. Like we discussed yesterday, the miracle question that we asked today is slightly different to the miracle question that Insu asked. So it's developing, and if we try, keep exploring what works, what doesn't, the model will be developed further, and it's a good sign. It's a very good sign, because also generations change, and so what worked for somebody might not work for the upcoming generations.
What you said, Biba, reminds me of two things to say. There is a solutions focus discussion group, listserv, and people there, from the gurus in solutions focus to absolute novices, are constantly discussing, prompted by experience, they're constantly discussing what is right and what is wrong. And there's never one single answer to that. It is constantly evolving. So it is a practice which grows all the time. This is one thing what you said reminded me of. And the second thing is that Insu Kim Berg and Steve Deshazer, who developed this method, they didn't have a theory. It all emerged from them practicing coaching, therapy, and seeing patterns emerge. And Insu, for example, the miracle question, Insu heard a client say, "Oh, a miracle happened," in the conversation, and then something clicked in her mind. So it's a constantly emerging practice, and I'm sure we're adding to it.
So it's emerging from the constant action of coaching.
And reflection.
Observing.
Yeah, from constant practice in coaching, and patterns emerge all the time. This is what they say, there is no theory behind what we... Am I right? Yeah?
This
I mean,
reminds also.
there are all sorts of explanations why a certain question and how. But to have a big theory, well, Steve did have a theory for having no theory.
These are huge questions.
Yeah, it emerged from what is going on.
Yeah, the question, the important thing is that they didn't start from theory and try to apply the theory in
Yeah.
practice like many scientists so-called do, but they start from practice and they find out the patterns and put them together into a theory.
Yes.
This is
They were watching the
very,
conversation.
this is the precious thing that I realized yesterday. So, and there is also dealing with horses. There is one a horse trainer who has called his way of approaching the horses the method. This is the method. And I was I had the same reaction, okay, the method, each horse is different and so on, but then I got acquainted with it and I discovered whichever horse you apply the method to, it's working. It's, you follow the steps, there's these steps, you do this, you behave like this, you react like this, and it's perfect. It works perfect. So I felt like, oh, here is the method yesterday for people, you know. But of course, I guess there has been some case where it wasn't working.
It's like, I think we have huge questions in the air, and I think it's good like that. Like, for example, we have the luck that some people spend their lives experimenting, and we can just rely on this, what you say, like Lisa Kimberg, Steve Deshaies did it big time. Like, they dedicated their lives to this, so it's great to rely on that. And also, what they did great is not relying on others, but having a look themselves, what is useful for that client who's sitting in front of them. And I would go for this reason to experiment now.
Yeah, to them.